You're listening to Music Tectonics.
Welcome back to Music Tectonics, where we go beneath the surface of music and tech. I'm your host, Dmitri Vietze. I'm also the CEO and founder of Rock, Paper, Scissors. We are a music tech PR firm. And as you may have heard, we have just announced that Music Tectonics, the conference, is going online. October 27th and 28th, 2020. We will be using a really cool platform we found that's going to make for an exciting event. And we are going to start sharing some of the content that will be taking place at the conference. I'm really excited because our guest on the podcast today, Alex Perrien from Genesis, is going to join us at Music Tectonics. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Dmitri. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you calling in from Stockholm, an American in Stockholm running a music tech company. I appreciate you taking the time. And like I said, Alex, you're going to be at the Music Tectonics online conference, but we're going to take a deep dive now into what you do. We've been talking about all sorts of things that have kind of exploded with the COVID-19 lockdown, and some of them are converging trends with things that were happening before. And one of them is gaming and virtual worlds and music. Alex, your company Genesis is involved with doing live events in Minecraft. We've been hearing about more and more festivals taking place in Fortnite and Minecraft, and now there's a head of music for Roblox. Tell me about the traction of in-game or in-world concert experiences. Do people come to the game for the concert, or do they find the music because they're already in the game? And what do you see happening in this whole world?
So what we've seen, and part of the reason we're so excited about this project, is that the user base for Minecraft specifically is massive globally. It's one of the top 3 largest games in the world by monthly user base. So we have that Minecraft has sold 200 million copies worldwide. There are 126 million playing monthly. So it's active monthly accounts. And then on top of that, in China, they've actually released a free version of the game, which then boosts that total user number to 480 million. So you have almost a 500 million people on the Minecraft platform. And so when you create festivals within the game, you're opening it up, the festival and your artists, your brands, to this entire audience that might not otherwise be accessible to your artist, brand, or otherwise, depending on where you are physically located.
Right. Wow, those are some huge numbers. And what I'm getting the sense from you is that people do actually get to maybe discover something they wouldn't find otherwise. Certainly, even pre-COVID, in terms of live events, if you have people from around, you could almost treat Minecraft like its own country, right? Like I was gonna tour the UK, I was gonna tour Japan, but now I'm gonna tour Minecraft.
That's right. It's we also have 40 million hours of monthly on Twitch of Minecraft are being watched. So people playing Minecraft are heavily watched on Twitch. 40 million a month, for another number there for you.
I know that for sure because I have an 11-year-old son who's huge into Minecraft, and he probably watches 40 million hours of Minecraft videos every day. It's insane. So what's it like to be, quote, at a concert in Minecraft? What do you see? What do you do?
So when you show up at the Minecraft event, we have a specific server address. So you log into the game, you type in our server address, and you're loaded into our server entrance area. And we can design this however our partners would like, depending on who we're working with. For instance, at the Blockeley Music Festival we did for University of Berkeley, there's a big Blockeley sign with the stadium, the UC Berkeley Stadium in the background. You can walk in, explore the map. We have mini games, shops, and once you approach the stage, you can hear the music. There's laser lights. We can design visuals, live, dynamic maps, which I can explain as well. basically whatever you can imagine, we can recreate in Minecraft for a festival experience. To go back to the Blockeley example, we had 30 hours of music over 2 days, as short sets per artist, but it allowed us to get a lot of exposure for those that were working with us in the festival.
Wow, it sounds really fun. What can you do in a Minecraft concert that feels like real life, and what can you do that's not like real life that you can't do in real life?
So, a Minecraft festival in real life allows you to show up and experience the music with other players around, right? You can see other users jumping up and down in front of the stage. You can buy merchandise that will be displayed on your character. We're working on a feature now where that merchandise can also be sent to your home when you purchase it online.
Wow.
You can explore the area that surrounds the stage. Moving around to different stages is also possible. So you can see different performances or acts that you might be interested in. And of course, because it is in a virtual world, we don't have a lot of the safety requirements that an actual festival would have, or the expense that an actual festival would have. So for instance, a dynamic map example would be right before your headliner appears, a volcano erupts in the background, revealing a volcano stage, and they have the DJ booth in the middle of this volcano playing while the lava flows around the audience. And obviously, in the real world, that would be a little bit dangerous, maybe a few safety waivers required, but things like that are entirely possible. We're working. One of our clients is looking at recreating a cyberpunk styled city that they can host a concert into. So really, whatever you can imagine, we can create.
Wow, that sounds fun. I wanted to ask you if you thought this was just a blip, this interest in festivals and concerts in game worlds, a blip because of the requirement of social distancing, and whether this would outlast COVID, the crisis we're having worldwide. But I mean, I can't imagine that people wouldn't want to do this regardless. I mean, I'm sure it's accelerating, right? Because all the artists, managers, agents, and so forth want to figure out how to continue building relationships with artists and I mean with fans and having them have engaging experiences. So I take it you think it'll outlast COVID?
Yes, we do believe that was a question early on. Was, hey, how are we going to approach this as a business? Is there an actual case here for extended use past COVID, or should we really focus on, one or two events, and then, wind things down? But the more we looked into it, the more we found examples where we believe this is really going to last past COVID. There's a company called Blockworks in the UK that's been around since the second year of Minecraft. And they've been recreating virtual spaces for a wide range of clients for users to interact with. One of their more famous projects was the Uncensored Library, which received a lot of buzz earlier this year, where they created basically a library that would host censored news articles and books from around the world, so that they would always be publicly available.
Oh, wow.
And it was a collaboration with journalists. Reporters Without Borders was the organization. So they've also worked with, for instance, Disney to recreate a Neverland as a promotional server interaction experience for Peter Pan, and a few other movies there. So there's a lot of potential moving forward, not only in live music events, but outside of the performance environment. Inside of the performance environment, clients are also interested because it allows them to expand their audiences. to people that might not be able to access the music
Mm-hmm.
festivals or concerts due to physical barriers, right, or cost of travel. I've always wanted to go to like Ultra in Miami, but I've never had the timing, and budget has never quite lined up for me. So I've been to the local one in Croatia, but if there was a digital recreation of Ultra Miami, maybe I would be able to go just by logging on to Minecraft and experiencing some degree of that festival experience, right?
Yeah.
The other people that we've seen are interested in this Minecraft recreation are seasonal venues, so venues that for or outdoors generally are only popular during certain times of year, can basically freeze themselves in time in a specific climate or weather where they're always accessible. So they can still generate revenue, brand recognition, and ticket sales, even when the venue itself might be closed.
Yeah, that's cool. There's so much in a virtual world that you can kind of like control for that you can't in real life.
Right.
Not to mention rain checks, right? And just the danger of having an outdoor festival when weather can become make it impossible to keep the festival. So listen, I remember I was well over a decade ago, I think, when people were doing stuff like this in Second Life. There weren't a ton of festivals, but there were some, and there was. I know people were making virtual goods and selling, and there was a whole economy that emerged there. And I'm curious if you have thought about Second Life, why it failed, and how that failure will be avoided now.
Yeah, I believe it or not was a early user of Second Life. I thought it was when I was younger, a really cool idea, right, to be able to explore these virtual worlds, and the amount of interest that it managed to gather. But I believe, and I've spoken with a couple other people, our CTO for the company, it was the former principal software engineer at Microsoft. And so he also was pretty experienced in Second Life. And we were having this discussion, and we came to the conclusion that the reason Second Life didn't work out is that over time, it became more of an adult-oriented community, which kind of corrupted the innocence, if you will, of the online community, and it was like aggressive to some degree. I know they still have a small community that uses Second Life, but the reason Minecraft specifically we believe will have lasting power is because of the community moderation that's carried out by Microsoft and internally with the community itself. The tools and things they've developed are much more friendly to a general audience than maybe Second Life was. And the other thing I'd like to mention is that Genesis itself as a company, although we do see Minecraft as a great starting block because of the large user base, right, and strong community that has developed a number of these tools, it's not necessarily the final stopping point. You did mention Roblox earlier. We're starting to take a look at that as a possible area for future expansion, or even creating our own virtual reality interaction platform in the future. But of course, the question is, both of Roblox and Minecraft already have these built-in users, and it really requires a strong brand name recognition following in order to be able to drive people to a new platform. So we'll see. It's a possibility in the future.
Yeah. Well, that's really good insights. I had forgotten that Second Life had turned into such a dark place with kind of a skeezy kind of segment of the population, making it kind of like no longer fun for people who weren't going down the path of whatever it was they were doing, kind of. And it is interesting to think about it actually makes me wonder about Minecraft, because it's basically like the Legos of the era, but now it's just like the population that uses is getting older, but also older people older than 11 or 13 are just they have a whole world of interaction that's happening there. So it's so interesting to watch it evolve as well. In terms of you, Alex, where did you get the idea to build virtual events inside Minecraft? How did you get to this point where you're the CEO of Genesis, this company that's offering this service of building these music festival experiences there?
So I have to start this story with how Genesis began. And that was with the commencement ceremony for the University of California, Berkeley. This year, of course, due to COVID-19, it was canceled. Fortunately, there's a small, devout group of Minecraft users on campus, and they had built an entire one-to-one replica of the campus on their Minecraft server. And so when they heard that commencement was canceled, they reached out to the school to see if it would be a possibility to recreate commencement inside of their Minecraft server. And the school has worked very closely with them to put together this event. One of the strong points I should mention as well is that we work with OS Studios, very closely with OS Studios, who's a video game video producer. So their specialty and expertise is in creating in-game video coverage. So you have multiple cameras that you can cut between for a real live professional feel to your productions. A lot of video game footage you see is either static or first-person point of view from the streamer you're watching. But working with them allows us to have graphic overlays, multiple angles, and even live or pre-recorded video as part of the experience. So, for instance, during the commencement, we worked with the commencement speakers to pre-record videos of their speeches. We recreated their Minecraft personas. So we had them send us photos of them in the cap and gown with their sashes and braids. And then we recreated their figures in the Minecraft game, and then had the speaker, like the actual figure giving the speech, and then the video of the speech at the same simultaneously for the event. And it gave the feel of having a commencement as close to you as you could, at least, to a commencement without having to be in the proximity of other people and risking, of course, COVID exposure. So the commencement, great. The school happy to work with the builders to put this together. And one of our co-founding members, Johan Yang, is part of Bose, which is a DJ duo who also attends University of California, Berkeley. And they said, hey, along with this commencement, we should put on a music festival for the students. And so they reached out to their management team, who is also on our part of our founding team, Antonio De Puerto and Luigi Pocari. And we worked with them to book a number of artists for 2 days. And during this time, they're like, hey, we need somebody to help us lead this idea, continue to help grow it. And that's when they contacted me, and they're like, hey, Alex, can you help organize this and build this into something larger and help us with a future direction? And that's where I stepped in. So I helped with the event, the tail end of the event, and then now into the future there.
Well, that's a cool launching off point. So let's get into a little bit more nitty gritty here. If someone is considering doing a music performance or a festival in Minecraft, what do they need to consider? How do they start to frame the scope of that project? What are the considerations?
So we ask that our team is made up of designers, programmers, artist managers, musicians, producers. We have a lot of expertise. So we can definitely help whoever comes to us with an idea or just the desire to throw a Minecraft festival. But we ask that they at least have some idea of what audience they're looking for, what they'd like the world to look like a little bit. It can be as vague as we'd like an island, we'd like a city, we'd like it to be on a ship, an underwater, secret layer of some sort. And then what kind of artists they'd like to work with, as well as any sort of in-game stores or sponsorship partners they'd like to have. And so we work with them to create a world that has a stage, merchandise stores, and kind of help them build out the idea through a number of steps. And so let me see. Let's a better example. So, for instance, in the Minecraft festival that we did for Blockeley, we recreated the UC Berkeley football stadium, built a live stage inside of the stadium, programmed lights, lasers. We had bubble machines. And then the sponsors for the event were Razer and Spin. And so we built a Razer VIP pool section that overlooks the stage. And then we had a Spin castle where you could explore and do a little, we had what's it called? A free running course inside of the Spin castle. We built for players to
like
interact
parkour?
with. Yeah, parkour, exactly. So it was, if you come to us with an idea, we can help you build it out. Just a general look, feel, if you have a particular lineup you want to work with. Right now, we're reaching out to labels, artist managers, event producers to see if they would be interested in conducting a Minecraft festival, and then what they would need to consider it a success, right? So we also like to ask, how much of a reach do you want for this festival? What platforms do you want this streamed on? Do you want this to be a ticket sale event where the only people who have access to the event are those that buy tickets? Do you want this to be a streaming event where it's primarily for promotional purposes and you just want as wide of a reach as possible? And we're prepared to handle either case.
What about the performance side? I know, like in Blockeley, you said you had a lot of artists, and you said they had short sets. How does the artist part of this work in terms of performance?
So for the Blockeley and other Minecraft festivals at the time, the focus, the only way you could have a music festival inside of Minecraft was to basically have a pre-recorded sets, right? That were then played simultaneously over the streaming video on a platform like Twitch, for instance. So on Blockeley, the way the experience worked was you would go in-game, hang out at the stage, but the actual music was coming from the Twitch platform, right? And so we said, okay, that worked for now, but let's make it so we have in-game audio, right? The common sense next step for development. So now we can not only do in-game audio, but also live audio from live performances, and soon to be video as well. So what happens is that once we know the lineup, we reach out to the artist and their management team. We have them send a photo of what they want to look like in game. They can ask for normal clothes, whatever they're wearing in the photo. We can create capes, wings, glasses, any sort of clothing item that they can imagine, as well. And then we also discuss what visuals they would like. So we can do custom video backgrounds during their performances. We can have special particle, what's the best way to describe it? Special videos that are essentially holograms is the best way to describe it, that float around the stage or above the stage during their performances. And so we work with the management team and the artists to make sure that they're excited and happy about what they're going to look like in game, and what their performance will represent to the audience.
So let me see if I've got this right.
Sure.
One scenario is you've got pre-recorded music, and basically the artist can control their avatar on stage to just be dancing around or whatever, as if they're playing music and people are hearing music. And another, so that's one option, right?
Right.
Another option is you said something about video. Now with video, are you talking about a video of an actual real person that gets displayed in Minecraft?
So we do have that capability now. For Blockeley, it was pre-recorded sets that were played separately while people were dancing in game, right? So you had to have Twitch and Minecraft open. Now you just have to have Minecraft open, and we can do live streaming of live performances, so not pre-recorded performances. And then we can even do a video as well, which would come from either a live source or a pre-recorded source, depending on demand.
So I would be inside Minecraft looking at a video screen?
That it is a possibility. It might not be exactly what you're looking for, but it helps for certain cases, right? Where maybe the user wants to see both a video stream of the live performance, but still participating with the community, being able to walk around the map. Yeah.
There's no live mapping of a live performance to an avatar, right? It's like like you're shooting the video now with like a CGI studio or something, and the avatar's doing what the performer's doing in a studio somewhere.
So it's our team actually. One of the members of our team works heavily in the VR space for therapy specific cases. And we've been discussing with them some techniques that we can actually use to map artists' performance movements to their actual in-game characters. So if you think of, for instance, your Kinect, right? It's an Xbox 360 device that captures, maps out the body's limbs, and then translates those limb motions into computer character motions, right, for certain video games. And so we can take that same data and apply it to the Minecraft space as well.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so just so people, because there are labels and managers listening. How expensive is it to put on a Minecraft festival? Say there's an indie label that just like, let's do a festival with like 10 of our hot artists right now in Minecraft. We think it'll connect with our fan base. What kind of budget should they be looking at just for the production end, not for marketing or anything, or even artist fees?
Yeah. So we can work with most budgets. The expensive part for us, primary expense, is the construction of and design of the actual worlds and characters, right? And then the live video production, right? So if you want a professional quality video that's accessible not only to in-game users, but to people watching on a live stream or post, that's also something that
adds to the budget.
That adds to the budget, right? That being said, we can do an event without any. I guess I'll consider it if you build a custom stage and then have a minimum degree of camera work, a short 1 to 3 hour event, we can probably do that for $15,000 to $20,000 is what we're aiming at. And then at the high end of that budget, if you want big name artists, lots of promotion and an increased map size with which will also draw in a lot of users, running up our streaming costs, right? That can be $150,000 minimum there.
Pretty cheap compared to renting out a stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great deal for sure. For instance, the Blockeley Music Festival, we had 5 million impressions on Facebook and Instagram for that event alone. So if you consider the reach that you can get out of these events, it's unbelievably cheap.
Yeah. And what about the artist end? I mean, are artists able to monetize by participating in Minecraft festivals? Are they getting paid fees, or are there any kind of other I mean, you mentioned digital merch and stuff like that. What is it? What incentivizes a label or a manager or an artist to say, yeah, let's get our artists on stage in Minecraft?
So the way we monetize in an event, of course, you can, where you want to focus on monetization, we can do ticket sales, right? So the visitors to the server have to pay for full access to the whole festival. Sometimes we can set it up so that they pay for specific stage access, right? And we can do a free tier, like a freemium model of sorts. We can also have the artists show up in game and interact with players on voice or text chat as a way of helping them monetize. We can also do exclusive mixes or performances that are then only released in game to incentivize users to pay for that access, that are then released elsewhere after the festival. There are a number of ways we can do it. It just depends on, again, the goals of the managers and artists.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So this has been super fun. Like I said, you're going to be at the Music Tectonics Conference speaking October 27th, 28th. Our listeners can go to musictectonics.com and click on the conference to find out about our just announced online version. Because of the pandemic, we're not going to be meeting in person this year, even though we had a great first year festival in LA. And it's going to be great. We're doing lots to make sure that there's not only great programming with people like Alex sharing their insights, but also a lot of networking opportunities. We're pushing the limits of what we've done so far with our weekly Wednesday events to really give people a chance to meet and get business done. That's what we want to see happen. Great ideas sharing across multiple aspects of music tech and other industries, but then people actually getting to meet people and do some deals too. So check out musictectonics.com. Alex, before we wrap up, what is the future of in-game concerts and festivals? Where do you see this stuff going?
From our perspective, it'd be great if everybody involved, everybody in the world had attended an in-game festival at some point in the future. I think that would be fantastic for us. We definitely see expanded access in the future. We're working on one of the features is browser-based access, so you don't have to download a special app or special game, but you'll have a limited experience in browser. And once those tools become more readily available, I think the application and accessibility is definitely going to expand, which will draw more interest and help this space grow. One of the best cases I can think of, sorry, I know this is supposed to be a quick answer, but
it's cool. It's cool.
One of the best cases is Tomorrowland. Because their festival was put on or postponed this year, they developed an entire virtual reality platform specific to their event for access across all platforms. So as those tools, again, become more available, I definitely think we're going to see an expansion in interest, not only from fans, but also artists and labels.
You bring up a really good point that we haven't talked about and one of the things I like about Minecraft and this whole idea of Minecraft, Roblox types of festivals is that you don't really need special equipment. One of the challenges with VR is people getting up to speed with having the headset and getting everything to work well and connect and so forth, and then also cross-platform interoperability issues and all that kind of stuff. Whereas with Minecraft, if you've got the game, and yes, you do have to download Minecraft currently, you can experience it without having to get hardware and invest in the hardware and so forth. So, I mean, it's interesting when you hear people say the word virtual reality. My first thought is picturing headsets, but we are talking about creating a virtual world in Minecraft, and you don't need to have a headset. It's not the same 360 sensory experience, but it's you kind of trick yourself into feeling like it is.
Absolutely.
So that's a good point. So I've got a question, Alex. Would you be up for maybe posting some images of some of your festival scenery and so forth in the Music Tectonics app? We've got this community app, which anybody can find in the iOS or Android Google Play stores. Just search for Music Tectonics or go to app.musictectonics.com. Would you be up for posting some visuals there? And also, that could be a cool way for people to connect with you.
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to do that. We have some great footage from the Blockeley Music Festival, and then also some of the comparisons that we've done between buildings in the real world and buildings that we've created in our server.
All right, that'll be fun to check out. So that's cool. We'll all look in the app for that. Alex, I don't know if I said your last name right. How do you say your last name?
Perrien.
Perrien. Okay, yeah. Alexander Perrien, CEO of Genesis. Is it virtualgenesis.io? Is that the website?
That's correct.
Yeah, cool. You can check out more about his company there. Alex, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. I'm really excited to having you at the Music Tectonics Conference.
Thank you very much, Dmitri.
And thank you for listening. Make sure to hit subscribe. Again, go to the Music Tectonics app. You can connect with Alex. You can see some of the stuff that Genesis has done in Minecraft. And also, we've done some cool AMAs with people like Sherry Hu, Tracy Maddox, and we're going to have more of those coming soon. And make sure to mark your calendar, October 27th, 28th, 2020. The Music Tectonics Conference will be online. Sign up for our newsletter at musictectonics.com. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Music Tectonics.